Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Business Shout Out. I'm Jovan Walker. I'm so excited to have you here on this fine Tuesday evening. I will be interviewing none other than Jha Allen, the owner and founder, CEO of the Endless Eight Marketing that's located right here in Houston, Texas. So thank you again, Jha, for coming in. I'm so excited to have you on.
Nah, for sure, for sure. I'm excited to be here. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So let me see. Tell us about a little bit about you, and then also tell us about endless eight marketing.
Okay, so look, what you want to know? No, no, I'm
All
just kidding. But no, so like you said, Jha Allen. I actually grew up right here in Houston, Texas. So I'm born in Houston, born and raised. I'm a Houston native. I've been in marketing for the last 7 years or so. I started out in sales, then that brought me into marketing, and I've been running Endless Eight for the last 5 years. And we've been in business. We made 5 years last July, so we actually put on 6 years, which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy to even think about. But yeah, we come up on 6 years in business, and we're a full service marketing agency. We focus on website design, content strategy. I'm in social media. A big part of our business this year is training business owners. So kind of how I was telling Javon off camera, we noticed that a lot of times with business owners, one of their biggest hiccups is consistent marketing. So they might hire an agency or they might hire a social media manager and they might have them for a month, 2 months, 3 months. And then if they're not seeing results, then they end up cutting the person and they end up blaming the person. And typically, it's not the person; it's you didn't give marketing enough time to actually work within your business. And I understand because I'm a small business owner where budget, sometimes it's just not in the budget to consistently keep paying someone and waiting on the results. So we
Mhm.
found that teaching business owners either one on one or within their team how to do digital marketing as a whole, primarily social media. We do focus on email, websites, but one of the biggest things is showing them and really engaging with them on how they can create content and be consistent for social media and coming up with a strategy on how we can take advantage of that has been a pillar over this last year within the business. So I train one-on-one, or also I train with organizations. So if you're not able to afford one-on-one services, you can come to one of my organizations. I train with the Small Business Development Center. I've done stuff with University of Houston downtown. I've done stuff with Prairie View, where these trainings are typically free, but sometimes they do put a fee on that. I can't control that, but it's never more than like $19, $25 or something like that, where you can come out and I go over different digital marketing techniques. Oh, and I also do a online training once a month via Zoom. So I offer a lot of different avenues where you can get free resources to kind of up your digital marketing. But if you need specifics to your actual business, we can also work one on one and kind of get that handled as well. So in a nutshell, that's kind of where our business is at and where we're focused on taking business owners over this next year.
Awesome. No, it's awesome. I was just telling Jai like before we joined in here, I was like, hold up, I didn't realize you did all of that with the marketing because I've known Jai to do like the website, the social media, which she said she's that had like a strong focus on it over time. But the simple fact that they're providing all these services from the training side of things to really empower entrepreneurs is so commendable. Everybody needs this.
Yeah.
So tell me more in terms of like who are these? I know it's like different business owners. Is it like all industries? Share a little bit in terms of that aspect.
So when it comes to the trainings, typically I can't really control that. It's all type of industries that come in,
Mhm.
whether they're e-commerce or they're service-based businesses. All type of industries can take advantage of the trainings because I make the trainings to where they're not specific to an industry necessarily because I know it's always different type of industries in the audience. But
Okay.
primarily, who we like to work with from an agency perspective are service-based businesses. So they usually have a service and they might offer like, oh, we sell books or we might sell some type of course on the side of their service, but our primary audience would be a service-based business. So think about your community organizations is a good one for us. We're always working right now. We're working with they're a preschool, so they do different things within the education system. That's always a good one for us.
Mhm.
Nonprofits is always a good one for us. Coaches, consultants, therapists, those type of service-based businesses are typically good businesses that take advantage of our services because again they usually aren't able to necessarily afford a consistent marketing budget with a agency or a person necessarily.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So you got like a vast industry area that you kind of work with, which is good because a lot of the services you need are not just to a specific niche or audience. It's like, this is something that everybody can really use.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm niching down more and more though, because like anything, I have different coaches and mentors that are really focused on that niche based
Mm-hmm.
audience. So just getting into service based businesses and being able to name the service based businesses for me is like oh, that's small, Because like any business owner, you probably think you can help everybody, but it is a particular certain group or target
Mm-hmm.
audience that benefits from your services a bit more than someone else.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I get that for sure. So tell me, in terms of, I know you're doing a number of things within the Houston market. When you do your online training, are you getting people from outside of Houston as well? How does that go?
Yeah, so it's always surrounding areas. People get on me about this all the time, and I mean, if you're not in Houston, it's fine because I have a call next week with what I'm telling you. They do different solutions for parents that are looking to advance their children's early before college. So they offer different type of courses and different things like that to get them ready for college. They're in Dallas. So we do work with organizations and businesses that might not be primarily in the Houston market, but I do have a certain love for the Houston market and the surrounding areas only because it's so huge. And people get on me about that all the time, like, Jha, you need to expand. You need to do this, help people in here, help people here. And I understand that, and I get that because I'm actually working on a few different potential conferences that are nowhere near Houston. So I'm expanding,
Yeah.
but Houston is such a huge place and a huge market. Harris County alone is, you know what I'm saying? So it's like we have so much here that I get what everyone else is saying about expansion, but at the same time, if I can get 3% of Houston, that'll be something. But no, we do work with business owners outside of the Houston market. Yes.
Okay, no, that's good. No, I get what you're saying. Houston it's a few cities.
Oh,
Let's just
like, yeah. But I am working, like I said, conferences that are
say,
nowhere near Houston, which is super exciting. They're nowhere near Houston, so that'll be good. But I do have a love for my city. I was born here. I'm raised here. This is where I'm from. So I do have a special love for this city.
yeah, yeah. So no, that's, hey, listen, give it up for the home team for that one. So so that's cool. So all right, when you do offer services to other businesses outside of the market, what are some things I say when it comes to building a full service marketing company, what
Right.
would you say were maybe two of your biggest challenges, and like, how did you overcome them?
I'm still going through them now.
Mhm.
But one of the biggest challenges still to this day is that whole team aspect. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? I think a lot of business owners go through that. Most business owners go through that, where it's finding a team, finding people that are just as serious as you, will take your business just as serious as you, and will actually work just not even, I wouldn't say just as hard as you, because nobody's going to work as hard as me. This is my business. But definitely finding a legitimate team. And I think but that was only hard because of like a personal thing as well, because it's like, well, one, I'm very like, I'll do it, I'll get it done. I'll do it, I'll get it done. I'll do it, I'll get it done. So that's
Mhm.
one thing I had to overcome. But the second thing that I had to really overcome is when it comes to building a team, who do I really need? Because
Mhm.
everybody say, you hear about it, oh man, you need the social media manager, you need the virtual assistant, you need this, you need that. But that's cool and all, but I'm at a stage where it's like, what do I need? What do I need? My business is a
Mhm.
whole, you know what I'm saying? Not what everybody's saying I should have, but what should I really have? And then
Mhm.
also coming up with like a legitimate description on this is what I need you to do. Because I was always getting people where it's like, oh, I just need to do this, this, and this, but it wasn't a legitimate description. So now I'm taking my business. I tell everybody like this is something about that fifth year where it just got me thinking different and acting different and moving different, because I'm like, no, I need an actual job description for this. Like if you would have told me this 2 years ago, I'd be like, I don't need all that. I was playing too small, but now I'm like,
Mhm.
nah, I need a job description because this is an
Yeah.
actual job. So I need something legitimate. So building that team has been something for me. And then two, something that I'm working on. I was gonna create content about this. I'm still skeptical, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and create it. Was a contract, like a legitimate contract. Just recently, I didn't get kind of, I guess, screwed over. I don't know if we can use that type of language on this
You
show,
can. You
but I got
can.
screwed over with a contract, and it made me so mad because I'm just so excited to do the work, do the work, do the work that I
Mhm.
wasn't. really paying attention to what needs to be done as far as a payment perspective and contracts and just really covering myself because I'm trusting people too much. I'm a good person. So I'm trusting that, oh, I'm a good person. If I do the work, if I do this, it's gonna be all good. I'm finally at a stage in my business where it's like, no, that's not how it works, bro. People,
Yeah.
you can be a good person all you want, but that has nothing to do with other people's intention. And then two, just because the relationship started out good, don't mean it's gonna always be good. So even if that person is cool and everything's starting out good, we vibing,
You're right.
still handle business. Be like, okay, that's cool and all, but relationships change fast. And it's like, oh dang, I didn't even see this coming. So
Right.
that's my two things: building a team, and then actually legitimate contracts and handling business first, and putting all my feelings aside in relationships.
Yo, and those two things right there. If y'all watching this and haven't learned anything else in terms of this entrepreneurial journey, those two things are so important. Like I would say, the contract first for sure. Because I think, just like you mentioned, Jai, I know I've been in situations with contracts where it didn't go well, right? And that happens a lot. And some people don't even recognize like that's going to happen. It's
Yeah,
like you go outside like, oh, like, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed and all that, trying to make things happen. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I got this. And just like you said, like the whole heart thing, like I've got a good heart. I'm good. But people don't have a good heart towards you, especially when it comes to their money sometimes. So
yeah,
that's a definite big piece of why it's important to really have a strong contract in place, as well as, recognizing your boundaries as a leader. Um,
facts.
yeah, so thank you for sharing that. The other piece of that team side, y'all, stop doing it by yourself. You need
Yeah,
a team, but you need to know exactly what you need, what she said.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say? Because teaming is a big deal. So how did you go about building your team?
Still in the process right now. Like I said, I'm still in the process. I'm starting it over. The issue I had the first, I was like, I had a pretty legitimate team, probably the second and the third year in business, legitimate. I was
Mhm.
paying them too much though. So that was the issue I went through where I'm like, I was paying them too much for the services they were providing to me. So I think that's something else that we also have to get again. And it could have been just a personal thing because I'm always trying to make sure everybody is good. So it's
Mhm.
like as my income was going up, naturally I just kept paying them more. But it's like now that I'm now it's like years later, I'm like, well, I didn't really have to pay them more. They were doing the exact same thing they were doing before. But I
Mhm.
felt because, oh, I'm making more money, everybody got to make more money. And I'm not saying don't pay your people or people don't deserve raises. They do, but it just didn't make logical sense at that time. And that put me back so far. Like I'm still recovering from that. Like I'm still
Yeah.
recovering from that because of course that happened. Then we had COVID, and all this stuff happened. So it's like, oh shit. Like it put me back far. Because as my income was rising, I kept rising other people's income around me, although their production wasn't at that level.
Mhm.
And as a business owner, I'm just always, oh well, it's all good. I'm gonna get another contract. It's all good. It's all good. But it
Mhm.
sounds good at that time, but you just never know when you're really gonna get that next contract or that next thing to happen. So really be mindful of that. And
Mhm.
so how I'm rebuilding it now is again really thinking about what do I need this person to do because that was the issue before. I'm paying someone a more than what they deserved at that time because I didn't have a clear idea of what I needed them to do. If I would have had a clear idea on what I needed them to do, then it wouldn't have been no discrepancy in my mind about how much I feel like they were worth or how much I should be paying them because I would know like, oh, I have been doing this, and this at this rate. I kept raising their income because I had them doing all kind of stuff, and I'm like, oh, well, they are doing this. They doing our social. They send out emails. They were doing too much to where it wasn't really focused on a set price because I got them doing so much. I got them doing so much. So I'm thinking, oh, I got to raise their price. But it was like, well, if you would have had a set thing on, hey, I only need you to do all of this at this rate, then I
Yeah.
wouldn't feel no type of way about raising their price because they would have been doing exactly what we agreed to at that rate. So this new way, I'm just really I haven't even hired anyone else. The next person I'm looking for is like an executive assistant because I do understand I need that because I
Mhm.
do a lot of networking, I do a lot of moving around, I do a lot of things, and a
Mhm.
lot of things don't always deserve. don't always need my time after I'm done doing them. So I'm
Right.
looking and I'm writing down like, okay, I would want him or her to, I need you to do this.
Hmm.
I need you to do this. So I'm writing a list. So and I told myself my goal is by the 15th, I'm gonna have my job description up. But until I have an actual job description, I don't need to hire nobody because I don't know what I need them to do yet. So,
Right. Right.
so
Right.
I'm that's kind of where I'm at with that.
No, that's good. You just touched on a number of things, but this last part is what you just said in terms of what you want the person to do and what you feel like you need is understanding the whole plan.
That's
And many times, because sometimes we feel overwhelmed with it, what we do sometimes it's like, I just need help. Like, but then it's like you just wasted $1,000 because that help didn't necessarily help you in the manner that you thought it was supposed to, because you didn't really know what you needed.
exactly. And then, like I said, you just paying all these different things, or maybe one person, two person. How many people you paying for things where it's like, did you really have to come off that much in order to get that done? No, you felt like you had to because you're just throwing all these things at them. When it's like, hey, you hired them to do this at
Right.
this rate. It's kind of like when you work anywhere. They hired me. Some job descriptions do be having that. Well, other things might come up, but naturally you get paid, I don't know, $30 an hour at, let's say, I don't know, FedEx. When I want you to do this, and this.
Hmm.
It's like,
That's it.
okay, good, cool,
Yeah.
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 So, yeah.
No, but that's good. That's so important. That actually helps you to scale better. Um, because you're building a stronger process internally so that you can build the right team so that you can go up higher. Like, so I love it. So when it comes to scaling, what are you saying? I know you're still in the process of scale. You still growing your team, you still learning who's best to work with and all that. Still building out the different types of contracts that you're wanting to work on. What would you say are some important factors in that process of scale?
I know I keep saying this, but you got to know why this is different, but it's the same thing. Knowing where you're going. So I'm always big on, and I'm doing that all first quarter. So anybody that contacts me about anything that has nothing to do with me figuring out where I'm going, I'm kind of turning it down.
Mhm.
And I finally at a stage in my business, I made a post about this where I'm comfortable enough to do that, because I think as business owners, sometimes we be like, dang, every time somebody hit us up or every opportunity, we feel like we gotta take it because you never know when the next one gonna come. We're
Right.
not really running on faith, what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I'm having a lot more faith, or using the faith that I already have and really tapping into that, where it's like, hey, this first quarter, I have to focus on what do I want. It's hard to scale when you don't know what you want, and you have to be very specific about what it is that I want. So none of that, oh, I think I want to look like this, I think I want to look like this. You can work like that to a certain extent, but to
Mhm.
a certain extent you got to know exactly what you want, because if you don't really know exactly what you want, then it's hard for you to scale. Like I was telling you before this call, I'm trying to get even more specific. I want 70% of my business doing this, 30% of my business doing this. Like, this is what it looks like. This is what I want. Because if I know exactly what I want, then it's easier for me to tap in, meet the right people, create a plan, and it's easier for me to scale. But if I'm like, kind of don't know what I want, then it's
Mhm.
easy for people to pull me in directions that have nothing to do with me. We get pulled all the time. Like, especially me, I'm like, people always contact me to do something or to be a part of this or to do that. And that sounds cool and all. And it sounds great.
Mhm.
But I'm just moving on a lot more faith, especially this first quarter, where it's like, listen, if I don't really know where I'm going, then I can't be a part of what you're doing. And it also, too, because I'm always do, and I never take time sometimes to think
Mhm.
about what it is that I want or think about how to scale my business, it makes me lose money. Because again, I'm being very honest, I thought about this other day, and I sent the email out and told everybody, like, Ja, why are you still charging this rate for your marketing, like for your one-on-one strategic sessions? You're still charging the same rate you've been charging because you haven't sat down and really thought about, hey, you need to raise your prices. Everything in life has raised. Inflation is here. It's a new year. You add more stuff. You're doing all of this stuff, but you're still doing it at the same rate because you haven't sat down and really thought about, hey, I'm doing this and I'm only getting paid this
Mhm.
because I'm moving too fast and I'm not really thinking about where I'm going. You'll never scale if you're still working on, you know what I'm saying, the same way
Mhm.
you're couple years ago. I forgot I was listening to an audio. I think it was like you don't what did he say? He was like basically in layman's term, he was like it's hard for you to get anywhere if you don't know where you're going, but also in the scaling part too, it's hard for you to scale because it's like, what are you doing? You don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Now see that right there, you got to know. It's like on a scale of 1 to 10, how important would you say clarity is?
I would say it's a solid 10. But it's hard sometimes to get clarity when you're doing a lot of stuff and when
Mhm,
you're not sitting down and thinking. I think it takes time to get clarity. Like I said, I've now been in business. It's going on 6 years in July. So
mhm.
that's 6 years of me doing all this other stuff, doing this, doing it. So I don't think you'll have clarity. It take a minute to get clarity because business keep changing. Oh, that's the guy said. If you're still running your business the same way you've been running it when you started, then you're going out of business. So
Oh, that's a good one.
yes,
Yeah.
but it's true though. 'Cause it's like if
Yeah.
you still running your business the exact same way you've been running it when you started, you're probably heading out of business because everything is changing. But you,
Yeah.
so, but I think it takes time to get clarity because you really don't know what work, what doesn't. It take a minute,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's like, and then you hear of like all of these like multi-millionaires that literally have scraped their way 10 times to
That,
get to where they are.
yeah, like Apple.
So it's like the success, the fail rate, but you have to experience this fail, or you have to experience what didn't work in order to make it to your next. So I think I agree with you in terms of clarity. It definitely takes some time. And I also agree with you in terms of like as you are building out, as you seeing this stuff, whether it's like you doing 1,000 things and realizing, yo, I can't do that.
That's it.
And recognizing the importance of, you know, what it means what you are really trying to do and sitting down with your thoughts and making that thing happen. So with that, what do you do to kind of like, I don't know, take the edge off as it relates to like people? I mean, I know you're kind of in a place now where you're recognizing this, but what would you tell somebody rather to take the edge off when it feels like they're doing way too much?
Ah man, it's so cliche, but it would just be to say no. Like we got be obedient, but you gotta be, you gotta get a little more confident, have a little more faith in whatever you believe in, even if you only believe in yourself. But
Mhm,
you just gotta be a little more confident in yourself to like not be so anxious
mhm,
for something. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I forgot where it's at in the Bible or how they say it, but you shouldn't be anxious for anything. So
mhm,
you got to find a way to not be so anxious for certain things or anxious for it to pop so much and just have a little more faith. Like I say, even if it's just faith in yourself, just faith in higher power, whatever it is, but just you got to find that common place where it's like, you know what, it this ain't aligning with where I'm going. So
yeah,
if it's supposed to work, it's gonna work. If it's not, it's not, and be okay with that.
yeah,
You can't say that then really be still think about it like dang, like you gotta find a way to be okay with that. And even for me to this day, it's still hard because I want to make it so bad that I'm like, man, no, I gotta see, but I'm learning and I'm having a lot more faith where it's like, or just like I say, tapping into the faith that's already there. 'Cause I think we already got faith. We got to tap into it, but
mhm.
tapping into that, like, man, if it's supposed to happen, it's supposed to happen. If it's not, it's not. Let's run with it. Let's see let's just see what's up. Let's just see.
Yeah, no, that was good. That's good. I think for those individuals who are watching, once again, thank you guys for joining in, because Jha is excellent in what she does within the marketing side of things, providing trainings, providing services as it relates to web designs, social media, everything in between. Um, and she's been on here sharing a lot of great insight in terms of challenges and growth and aspects of endurance as it pertains to building your business. Like these are things that are legit that people don't always talk about. So thank you, Jha, for sharing that. But y'all take note. If you have to, make sure you go back and watch it. If you need to, just like rewind to the area where she was just talking about what she just said, because allow that to like marinate. You got to have faith in yourself. You got to have understanding in terms of what you really want. You got to understand like what you really need. and you got to be willing to pivot if you need to. That's important. So I know I kind of just summarized what you said earlier, but I know you got something else that you probably want to say too. Since we got a few more minutes here, definitely want to share, like, what are some things that you would tell um the businesses for this year? Like, what are some things that you feel like you gotta drive home on entrepreneurship as it pertains to businesses this year?
I would say entrepreneurship, but also just marketing. And even I'm not even gonna lie, even myself, I haven't been lagging on it because I'm always using Chat GPT as like I always use that. I use that every day, like every day.
Mhm.
I feel like I can be using it better or more for its capabilities, but
Mhm.
business owners, we have to tap into this AI even more. It's not a fad. It's not something that's just going to be here. Because even myself, like I said, I haven't been tapping into it the way that I should be tapping into it, and
Mhm.
that's a big reason why a lot of my services now is going to be is really focused on teaching. We still will do the services for you, but I really like to just do website design. If it's social media management, depending on the size of your business, our pricing and what you're doing might not work out for you. So
Mhm.
really what we like to do is, hey, we can build you a legitimate website. But what you probably really need is to work with Jha one-on-one with you and your team and come up with a strategy and let her show you how to do it and let her show you all these different softwares that you can take advantage of to help you do it. Because this AI and all this technology that's going on right now, we got to really take advantage of it because I feel like at first I was really big on, oh, it's not going to take that many jobs and blah, blah, blah. And it's really not, but it is. It's not, but
Mhm.
it is. It's one
Yeah.
of those things where it's like, what the hell? And I'm not trying to scare people because I'm not big on like putting a fear factor, but it's starting to take different jobs where I really didn't think it would come like this. Like even
Yeah.
myself, I was like, well, it's gonna be all right, but it ain't really gonna take that many jobs. But now I just be reading articles and I'm seeing all these companies dropping people, and I'm like, damn, it really is. It really is coming. I'm like, oh my God. I was even at Walmart and they got the self checkout where you can only do 10 items. But now if you go to some Walmarts, they got a new self checkout where you can do 25 items. Like, they got a little self thing on each
Yeah.
side, and they only got one person sitting at the front that'll like help you scan it. But they went from 10 to now 25. Then
Yeah.
eventually it might be the whole basket, and they only need that one person at the front to make
Mhm.
sure you're not stealing. Or I'm pretty sure they might start having things where you're not gonna be able to steal, or you walk out, they can scan or do something. But I just feel like, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna take a minute, but it's
Mhm.
not gonna be as slow a process as we might think. Because I'm not even gonna lie, even myself, I thought it was gonna be way slower than this. I'm like, that's cool and all, but it ain't really going. It's gonna take a few years, but it's moving so fast to where
Yeah.
it's like, dang, and companies are adapting to it very fast. I'm not talking about like small business. I'm talking about like big companies that are laying people off by the hundreds. And it's
Yeah.
like, dang, that's crazy. Like you would think, like, but it's not gonna happen as slow as we think. So as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, I would
Mhm.
just say find different ways that you can potentially learn and use these different AI technologies. Even I'm talking to myself right now where it's like I haven't took full advantage of it because I'm very big on it's cool, whatever. But now I'm like, hey, I need to really look at these different softwares and features in a lot more detail
Mhm.
because this is crazy. It can't replace me, I feel like, because I just you can't replace you can't I'm because I'm gonna be teaching it to you. That's why
Exactly. Exactly.
that's my code of excellence. So that's really what I'm learning too, because I know eventually people are gonna start telling me, and this is for marketers, they're gonna start telling you they don't need you. I
Yeah.
this or AI, and it's like that's cool and all, but I'm teaching you this AI, so you can get rid of me if you want to, but you're not gonna know how to do it. So yeah, that's my code to fame. But a lot of people, we got to figure out how to really use this AI because it's like this technology is just getting crazy. And I'm like, again, I wasn't the big on like jumping on it and all over it. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. But now I seen that at Walmart. I said, oh, Walmart, y'all, of all places, y'all got 25. And yeah, some Walmarts is now self checkout 25, and it's just going to keep
Wow.
getting bigger and bigger. And it's like, oh dang, man. I was at what was I at UPS because I was printing out some no FedEx. I was printing out
Mhm.
some stuff at the FedEx print shop, and
Mhm.
even they had a higher grade technology. And I asked the girl, I was like, you're not because that's what it was. They trying to charge you $1.50. I mean, no, $2 if you email them something and they have to print it for you. And I'm like,
What?
why y'all charging? I said, why y'all charging $2 for that? That's too much. She was like, oh, because we're trying to cut down people having to email us stuff and print it. We want you to just already come with it on your phone and you can send it to the computer. And I said, I said, you don't think that's kind of going to take your job if they're looking for us to do everything by ourselves? And she was kind of nonchalant about it. She was like, no, we do a lot of other stuff they're still going to need us for, but it's step one already. They're trying to cut you out. They're like, oh, let's charge them $2 because of course if you charge somebody $2 for you to email them something, they're gonna be like, naturally, nah, I'm gonna come with it myself. So if you come with it yourself, I no longer need the person at the counter to print anything for me. I can just go right to the computer printer and boom. Or I know I'm going now. Now you got me excited.
Go ahead.
The Wall Street Trapper, he does like stocks and different things of that nature. So I really listened to him. I'm actually about to listen to him after we got this call. But he was playing about it, but I feel like it would happen where he was like, wait till eventually they're gonna have iRobot kind of cops. Like he was like, instead of cops, and I was like, I can see that. He's like, instead of cops getting out the car, you're gonna see a little robot get out and you'll walk to you and do all that. I was like, and he was like, you know what they're gonna pitch it as? And this made so much sense. He was like, they're gonna pitch it as one of those things where it's like, we're looking to mitigate risk. Because if it's like a robot, you can't say it was like, oh, it was some crime, or oh, it was black on crime. It was none of that. It was a robot. It was like, he was like, they're gonna probably try to get it to mitigate risk, where it's like, oh, they don't have any colorism to them. So he's like, a real cop probably be sitting in a car, and then they'll have the robot cop come up to you. And I was like, you know what? He was joking, but he was being for real. But I'm like, nah, I can really see something like that.
I can too. I believe that, especially because they already have they've been working with robots to like build out like these whole troops, if you will.
Yeah.
So I can see that. And what you're saying is valid. Entrepreneurs, get a hold to this whole AI, understand it, how the efficiencies of it are going to work for your good, but then also hire Jha to teach you through the whole process of how to work it for your business. Because not everything, even though it's good out here and it's really taking a great thing to do, like make sure you know what you're using it for.
Facts. I think that's what overwhelmed people too, because they get overwhelmed. Because that's what overwhelmed me. I was coming out with all these different Instagram videos. Oh, you can do this, you can do this, you can. And I'm not gonna lie, I started being like, oh, that's just another AI tool, because it was too much. They just coming out all these video tips. I'm like, man, too much. And it seemed like all the little AI things they can all do the same stuff. So I'm like, let's get out my face with that. But now I'm like, let me really again cut the noise. What do I need this for? What tools do I need? Not all of these tips, tricks, and hacks. What tools are useful for me? And then go from there.
Right. So thank you for that. So y'all, Jha Allen, Endless 8 Marketing. I'm so grateful that she was able to join us today to spit some facts on entrepreneurships and spit some facts on AI marketing and what you need to do with your business. Make sure you reach out to her. If you're in the Houston area, make sure you reach out. If you are abroad, wherever the abroad is, make sure you reach out to her. Jha Allen, Endless 8 Marketing. You can literally Google her name, okay? And all the information that you need for your business can be found there. Jha, where else can they find you?
You can find me on all social media platforms. I'm trying to get more active on Facebook. So maybe y'all can bully me into Facebook, because Facebook, again, it's just so much chatter. I'm not a big chatter person.
Yeah,
I'm not big on talking. I'm big on like, oh my God. But you can definitely find me on Instagram, because I can get on Instagram, post my pictures, and be gone. So you can get me on Instagram for sure at Jha Allen, JHA.ALLEN. On LinkedIn, I spend some time on LinkedIn as well. Same. My handle is the same anywhere. LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, whatever social media platform you have, you can find me on there. I'll spend the most time on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook.
Let's do it for 2024, okay?
Facebook, I'm coming for you.
Right. Once again, Jha, thank you for joining in. For those of you who are interested in having your business spotlighted, shouted out, or what have you, hit me up in the DM. Just DM me the word spotlight session or what have you, and we will go through this whole process of talking about your business, putting you out there, but making sure that you are getting the awareness that you need and being able to share with people all the amazing things that you're doing. So make sure you tap into Jha Allen here. And in the meantime, I will talk to you all soon. God bless and have a great evening.